In fact, it's been almost a year and a half since Donald Trump won the 2016 election, but America, it seems, is still coming to terms with his victory. Trump's unconventional approach to politics does not earn him many fans. Every time he heads for a summit, every time he tweets or announces a new policy, he evokes the outrage of the establishment. Not that any of that criticism is stopping him. Our next report recaps America's response to its president.
Most importantly, it's great to be with you.
This handshake starts a new chapter in US and Russia ties. During the summit in Helsinki, the American president displayed extraordinary trust in the Russian president. While standing next to Vladimir Putin, Trump challenged claims of meddling by Russia during the 2016 election.
There was no collusion. I didn't know the president. There was nobody to collude with. There was no collusion with the campaign. And every time you hear all of these, 12 and 14, it's stuff that has nothing to do. And frankly, they admit these are not people involved in the campaign. But to the average reader out there, they're saying, well, maybe that does. It doesn't.
This strong denial has sparked fierce criticism against Trump. The American president's own party and the US intelligence community has slammed Trump. The Republicans and the Democrats accuse the American president of echoing Kremlin's defense. The recent attempts at diplomacy have not received much support. Whether it's North Korea or Russia, the US president's efforts have drawn criticism from all. With no tangible results so far, Trump is still considered as a political gatecrasher in Washington. His approach to diplomacy has been unconventional and unpredictable. President Trump's statements are often away from existing norms.
$507 billion.
During his campaign, Trump projected himself as an outsider.
We are going to make America great again.
His Make America Great Again pitch painted an image of a man who is anti-establishment by nature, someone who can break away from the deal-making tendencies of politicians. So while Hillary Clinton may have won the popular vote, Trump was able to crack the code to win an election in an electoral college system.
I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute.
That I will faithfully execute.
For several politicians in Washington, Trump's victory still seems unreal to them. His disruptive approach to foreign affairs has made many uneasy. While Trump is making the most of America's 2016 verdict, the unpredictability of Trump's presidency is unlikely to win majority support in America. All said and done, even the fiercest of his critics suggest foreign policy is something that can turn the tables in Trump's favor. Bureau Report, WION.
Meanwhile, it was another day of disappointment for the Sharifs. They remain in jail. Their bail plea has been rejected, meaning Nawaz Sharif and his daughter Maryam will not be out of prison before the 25th of July election. The Islamabad High Court has rejected their applications and has adjourned the hearing in the case till the end of this month. The Sharifs had appealed their sentencing in the Avonfield Properties corruption case. A two-judge bench is hearing the matter. The Sharifs want this verdict to be declared null and void. They say it was full of flaws. And their brother, Nawaz Sharif's brother Shehbaz, has said that he is being mistreated in the Adiala jail. He's written a letter to the Punjab Chief Minister Hassan Askari Rizvi, alleging what he says is poor treatment being meted out to Nawaz Sharif. Shehbaz Sharif is the acting president of the Pakistan Muslim League Nawaz Party, the PMLN. In his letter, he said that his brother was being denied newspapers. The three-time Prime Minister was not being provided with a bed, forcing him to sleep on a mattress. And the environment, he said, in the Adiala jail was pathetic. Even the washroom was extremely dirty. He said the prison environment was highly detrimental to the former Prime Minister's well-being. Shehbaz Sharif has now requested that, keeping in mind his brother's health, the government should allow Nawaz Sharif's personal doctor to visit him twice every day. This comes days after reports emerged of the stern treatment which was meted out to the Sharifs at the Islamabad airport when they were on their way to the Adiala jail. Reports say Nawaz Sharif and his daughter were separated on their arrival in Pakistan. Despite the former Prime Minister's request, he was not allowed to meet Mariam on his way to jail. The 68-year-old was also sandwiched, we are told, between two men on his 50-kilometer journey from the airport to the Adiala jail in an SUV. 2 days after the last ball was kicked in the FIFA World Cup 2018 in Russia, the celebrations continue. Thousands of French supporters cheered their victorious team. Paris was a sea of blue, white and red when the team returned home. And the reception for the runners-up, Croatia, was no less spirited. Take a look.
Thousands of French supporters cheered with unrestrained pride, and jets streamed the national colors blue, white and red as France's victorious World Cup team returned home. Thousands of fans lined the Champs-Élysées in central Paris to give the French World Cup winners a hero's welcome after the historic World Cup win. Football fans chanted, waved welcome banners and national flags as the team got fitted at a grand homecoming parade in an open-top bus. As the team was paraded down the Champs-Élysées, the French Air Force's acrobatic unit welcomed them home with a spectacular flypast, trailing blue, white and red smoke in the colors of the French flag. The Blue were also invited to the Élysée Palace by Emmanuel Macron and his wife Brigitte. The team posed together on the steps of the palace holding the World Cup before singing an a cappella version of I Will Survive at the top of their voice. Far away in Zagreb, it was a sea of red and white. Despite their defeat in the finals, Croatians poured onto the streets to give their team a grand welcome home. FIFA World Cup 2018 will be remembered as a tournament where football dazzled. The giants of the game suffered early exits. England almost convinced the cup to come home. Croatia reached their first finals, and finally the favorite France emerged as world champions. Bureau Report, Rion.
Equally cheered the world over. They were both the first black presidents of their respective countries, Nelson Mandela and Barack Obama, in a lecture in Johannesburg today in South Africa. Barack Obama said that it was Nelson Mandela who makes him want to be a better person. Listen in.
It is a plain fact that racial discrimination still exists in both the United States and South Africa. And it is also a fact that the accumulated disadvantages of years of institutionalized oppression have created yawning disparities in income and in wealth, and in education, and in health, in personal safety, in access to credit. Women and girls around the world continue to be blocked from positions of power and authority. They continue to be prevented from getting a basic education. They are disproportionately victimized by violence and abuse. They're still paid less than men for doing the same work. That's still happening. I believe in Nelson Mandela's vision. I believe in a vision shared by Gandhi and King and Abraham Lincoln. I believe in a vision of equality and justice and freedom and multiracial democracy built on the premise that all people are created equal and they're endowed by our Creator with certain inalienable rights. Madiba teaches us that some principles really are universal, and the most important one is the principle that we are bound together by a common humanity and that each individual has inherent dignity and worth. Now, it's surprising that we have to affirm this truth today. more than a quarter century after Madiba walked out of prison, I still have to stand here at a lecture and devote some time to saying that black people and white people and Asian people and Latin American people and women and men and gays and straights, that we are all human, that our differences are superficial, and that we should treat each other with care and respect. I would have thought we would have figured that out by now. I thought that basic notion was well established. So young people who are in the audience, who are listening, my message to you is simple. Keep believing. Keep marching. Keep building. Keep raising your voice. Every generation has the opportunity to remake the world. Mandela said, young people are capable, when aroused, of bringing down the towers of oppression and raising the banners of freedom. Now's a good time to be aroused. Now's a good time to be fired up. And for those of us who care about the legacy that we honor here today.
In the meantime, let's head to Cuba. In 2018, can you imagine not having internet access on your fingertips? Can you imagine spending even a day without internet on your cell phones? That was the reality in Cuba until today, but that's changing now, and the country is opening up to the world. Here's how.
This sight is not uncommon anymore. People glued to their cell phones, busy chatting with friends or just surfing the internet. In this day and age, most people prefer to stick their head into their phones rather than strike a conversation. The Cuban government has now started providing internet on mobile phones, but that too for a select few. Itself up to the world in a bid to shun the tag of one of the least connected countries in the Western Hemisphere.
On the phone? Yes, it's cool. I like it. I wish I could have it on the phone already.
Right now, Cubans have to rely on Wi-Fi hotspots in public areas to access internet on their phones. Until 2013, internet was largely available to the public only at tourist hotels. But the government is now planning to roll out mobile internet by the end of this year, and this is being welcomed by local residents.
Go to the Wi-Fi point, get up in the morning before going to work, check your email, talk to friends, and that would be a bit easier with internet on the phone.
Journalists at the state-run news outlets were the first to get access to internet on their cell phones. The belated campaign hopes to bolster the economy and help Cubans defend their socialist revolution. But the challenge doesn't end here. Pricing will play a major role in determining how many Cubans can actually afford to have internet on their phones.
Yes, we got it quite late, a little later than usual. But the problem is not when it will arrive, but how it will be done, at what prices will it be offered. Because it could be that we get it tomorrow, but if we don't have prices that Cubans can afford, it's as though we didn't have it in the first place.
Cuba frowns on public dissent and blocks access to dissident websites, and broader web access could weaken the government's control on what information reaches the general public. In a country that has a monopoly on the media, the move to provide internet on cell phones is definitely a significant one. Bureau Report, WION.